This is our 20th year anniversary. I started the Budo back in 2004, and for the last 20 years I've had all these experiences, lots of great positive experiences, sometimes not great positive experiences, but I've had all these experiences over the years for the last 20 years. And I started thinking this morning, it's like this is our last seminar to end our 20-year anniversary before we go into the next 20 years, right? And I started thinking, it's like it'd be great to really recap all the great experiences and all the things that we did over the last 20 years, why we started, what the mission is, and how we've stayed true to what we're doing. And I started thinking about all these things, all these things, and to be honest, it became very overwhelming. Like I could talk for hours on everything that we've done. I mean, I started the Budo back in 2004. It means School of the Warrior Way. And I just felt like a lot of the Koryu at the time were not being true to what the essence of ninjutsu and bujutsu and kobujutsu is. That doesn't mean that I'm saying that what they're doing is wrong. Everyone has their own, perceptions, a matter of perspective. But when I watched a lot of the Koryu and a lot of these other Ninpo organizations, what they're doing doesn't translate into a real fight, right? Now we do the same kata as lots of these other schools. I mean, between our 7 traditions, a lot of them are shared traditions with other organizations and whatnot. And I can understand the beauty of maintaining the kata, maintaining the kuden, maintaining the tradition. That is what we do. We have 7 warrior traditions and we don't break away from that. We teach the classical kata. But to me, you have to be able to teach warriorship with that, because if you don't teach warriorship with that, then at some point in time, you're getting away from the essence of what those arts were created for. So it's like, okay, you're just doing a movement. You're not really doing the combative aspects of why these warriors passed these traditions down over the generations. So in 2004, when I started the Budo we have these 7 warrior traditions. So we have Kokoru Kempo, Tenjin Ryu Jujutsu, Tomoru Shinobi Jutsu, Eshinryu Iai Jutsu, Kotoryu Kopo Jutsu, Gyokoru Koshi Jutsu, and Togaku Ninpo Taijutsu. The school itself, the Budo its fundamental idea is based on these 5 areas of training. The first area is called Nanamusha Den, which means the 7 warrior traditions. And those 7 traditions, those are the first area of training. I think that's important too, because I think sometimes people misunderstand what this organization is about, because when you go to this Ninpo organization, they have a specific set of ryuha, and that's what they teach. Here, that's not what it is. Here we have these 7 traditions. We don't alter them. We teach the classical kata. We work right off the scrolls. But that's not the only thing we do. Second area of training is Gendai Hinka Waza. And this is where I think a lot of organizations tend to fail in the area. A lot of people do Hinka, but they do Hinka in a way that it still is kind of a reflective of an old kata or in the 15th century or traditional movement. Our Gendai Hinka Waza, our modern variation techniques, are set now. So instead of doing Iaijutsu techniques, traditional with katana or wakizashi or kodachi, or we're going to use knives that you would carry in the modern day and then work on the same principles so you can use what you're carrying as a self-defense tool functionally in today's world. The Budo is not just a classical school, it's also a practical school. Yes, we do spears and bow and arrows and katana and shuriken and all the traditional weaponries, but we also work with modern self-defense tools, knives, sticks, firearms. We go to the range. We just have a vast amount of training because I feel that's what keeps these traditions alive. The third area of training out of our 5 is Hojo and Do, which is supplemental training. Bag work, it's conditioning, it's push-ups, sit-ups, squats, weight training, cardiovascular conditioning, hitting the bags, but it's also sparring. You know how many of these Koryu schools don't spar? We spar. Now, although I don't think sparring is as important as what the sport martial art people will say it is, the boxing, the kickboxing, the MMA. I do think that it's needed. It's an essential aspect of training. So we spar. We're a Koryu school that spars. Sesshin Tekyu Kyoyo, spiritual refinement. And we also have Nihon Mushikyu, which is the study of the old scrolls. Now, although all of our schools have Densho, scrolls, makimono, kuden, we have all the history and tradition, these 7 warrior traditions. But the Nihon Mushikyu is one of those areas, or 5 areas of training to help us better understand the samurai, better understand the ninja. So it gives us an opportunity to say, okay, you know what, these are our 7 traditions. And this is what the kuden says. This is what the history is said to be. This is the lineage it's said to be. But let's look at the Ban Senshukai, the Ninpo Den, the Shoninki, right? The Hagakure, the Book of Five Rings, the Art of War, the Bubishi. Like, I could keep going. Let's look at these classic texts and let's get a deeper understanding of what was going on at that time. Because if we can get that, then we can understand these 7 warrior traditions at a much deeper level. For the last 20 years, and I've tried so hard to get people to come together in the ninja community, and you know, unfortunately, I have not been very successful in that. Most people in the ninja community want to talk about how they're right, and you know, they don't want to listen to any outside source, you know. And you know, I'm in the beginning, if you guys remember, I had the Shinobi no Mono magazine, right? And I let anybody of any organization write for the Shinobi no Mono magazine. I wanted everybody of all ninja organizations to put in their articles and share their thoughts. And there was a lot of great things came from that, and I made a lot of great friends. One of the people that I met from that particular magazine that I owned was Anthony Cummins. And now he's a great friend, and me and him are working together on projects now with a family in Japan. You know, back in 2000, what was it, 2005, 6, 7, 8, somewhere in there, right? Those years with the Shinobi no Mono magazine, I thought more people would jump on board, but really it just separated lines. People were stuck, we're part of this organization, we're not, you know. And although it was a very successful magazine, because the majority of people who buy ninja stuff are not dedicated to one organization. So it was very successful from that perspective. It wasn't successful in the sense of I wanted to bring the community together. It did lead me then to say, you know what, well, since these magazines aren't bringing the people together, I need to further educate than just have a magazine article. So that's when I started writing books. And we have, you know, I've wrote all these books. We got the Shinobi no Michi, which is the largest written book on ninjutsu in the English language. Tomoru Shinobi Jutsu, which is a Heiho Densho specifically for that one tradition that I'm known for, that I'm passing on to the next generation as the 21st Soke. Kokuru Kempo Heiho Densho, the Shinobi Zukan. We've got all these books, the Michi, you know, and Kage no Sho, and all these books that we've written that help people better understand the way that we do things in the practice. And then that translates into everything else that we do. We do the 3 Taikais every year. We do a stealth camp every year. We work off the scrolls every year. We do these things, and I was going through this thing in my mind. It's like, how do I translate? How do I put into a video that we've done so much in 20 years, and we really want to celebrate that? And how can I? And I don't know that I could talk for hours on all the things we did. I made a promise to my master that when he gave me Tomoru Shinobi Jutsu, I have to give it to the next generation. And that is more than a goal. It is a thing that has to happen. I never thought in 2004 that I was going to be as successful as I am. I thought in 2004, you know, the martial art industry, generally speaking, is full of lots of alpha males that are cops or security, or these dudes that lift a lot of weights and got big muscles and they got the tattoos all over them. And I never thought in 2004, when I first started, that, you know, a transgendered woman starting her own organization is going to have one of the largest ninjutsu organizations in the world. I deal with thousands and thousands of people every week. I literally touch the lives of thousands of people all over the world with my teachings in ninjutsu. And if someone would have said I was going to do that, you know, 20 years ago when I first started, I wouldn't have believed it. So I'm very grateful to be in the position that I am, helping so many people understand the truth of the ninja, the truth of the samurai, being able to practice these arts in a way that it's not just preserving, you know, this tradition, but it's also helping people understand how they can apply that to their lives, and then how we can get that to the next generation. And for that, you know, we're still on that goal. So we still got a lot of work to do. We still got a lot of training to do. But, you know, I can't be more happier with the way that the organization has grown over the last 20 years, and truly looking forward to seeing where it's going to go from here.